Today we will discuss about female pelvis. Female pelvis consists of 4 bones, 2 innominate bone, 1 sacrum and 1 coccyx. Each innominate bone consists of ilium, ischium and pubic bone. First we will see the ilium. This is called as iliac crust. When we place our hand on our waist, practically we are placing our hand on the iliac crust. This sharp portion is called as anterior superior iliac spine. Just below it is anterior inferior iliac spine. If we go to the posterior side, this is posterior superior iliac spine. This is posterior inferior iliac spine. Now, this anterior flat flared portion is called as anterior fossa or iliac fossa. So this is about ilium. Next is the ischium. Ischium is from here to here. This is the body of ischium. This is ischial rami. Rami is a plural term. Ramus is a singular term. These two bony projections are called as ischial tuberosity. It is the point where we sit. Just behind ischial tuberosity is ischial spine. The significance of ischial spine during labor is that we check the progress of labor by checking the stations in relationship to the ischial spine. Next is the pubic bone. Pubic bone is from here to here. This is the pubic bone. This is the superior pubic rami. This is inferior pubic rami. This is called as pubic arch. Now this hollow structure is called as obturator foramen. It is a space from where the nerve supply happens to the female pelvis. Just in a side of obturator foramen is the acetabulum. It is a place where the femur bone comes and articulates with the acetabulum to form a hip joint. So as you can see that 2/5 of the acetabulum is made up of ilium, 2/5 of the acetabulum is made up of ischium and 1/5 of the acetabulum is made by pubic bone. Next is, here you can see that from the posterior inferior iliac spine there is a deep curve till the ischial spine. So this deep curve is called as greater sciatic notch. Now from the ischial spine to the ischial tuberosity is the lesser sciatic notch. Greater sciatic notch, lesser sciatic notch. So these are the parts of the innominate bone. Next is the sacrum. Sacrum consists of 5 fused vertebrae. The bony prominence here is called as sacral promontory. There are the holes in the sacrum called as holes or the foramina of Pearce. From these holes, the cauda equina runs and provides the sacral supply to the female pelvis. There is a curve in the sacrum called as the hollow of the sacrum. Just below the sacrum there is coccyx. Coccyx is a vestigial tail. Another name for the coccyx is tailbone. During labor, the coccyx moves backward to give more space to the fetus to come out vaginally. This property of the coccyx, suppose this is coccyx, so this property of the coccyx to move backward during labor is called as nodding. So this is coccyx, which consists of 4 fused vertebrae. So these are the 4 bones of the female pelvis. Next we will see the joints of the female pelvis. The first joint is the sacroiliac joint, the joint between the sacrum and the ilium. These are 2 in number. Next is the symphysis pubis. The joint between the 2 pubic bone is symphysis pubis. It is 1 in number. Next is the sacrococcygeal joint. Sacrococcygeal joint is between the sacrum and the coccyx. It is also 1 in number. Next we will see the ligaments of the female pelvis. The first ligament is sacroiliac ligament, the ligament between the sacrum and the ilium. These are 2 in numbers. Next is the pubic ligament between the pubic bone. It is again 1 in number. Next is the sacrococcygeal ligament between the sacrum and the coccyx. It is also 1 in number. Next is the sacrospinous ligament. Now sacrospinous ligament run from the side of the sacrum to the ischial spine. So these are 2 in numbers. Next is the sacrotuberous ligament. These ligament runs from the side of the sacrum to the ischial tuberosity. These are again 2 in numbers. Next we will see the types of female pelvis. So female pelvis is divided into 2 parts, the false pelvis and the true pelvis. We have considered an imaginary line. There is no such line present, anatomically no such line is present in the female pelvis, but for the better study of the female pelvis, we have imagined a line, that is linea terminalis. Above the linea terminalis is false pelvis and below the linea terminalis is true pelvis. Why it is called as false pelvis? Because the false pelvis do not actively participates in the process of labor, while the true pelvis, it is called as true pelvis because the fetus has to pass through the true pelvis in order to deliver vaginally during labor. So that is why above the linea terminalis is false pelvis and below the linea terminalis is true pelvis. So we will see the parts of true pelvis. True pelvis is made up of 3 parts: inlet, cavity and outlet. Inlet is also called as brim. There are the landmarks in the inlet that we will see. The landmarks of the inlet are upper inner border of symphysis pubis, pubic crust, pubic tubercle, pectineal line, iliopubic eminence or iliopectineal eminence, iliopectineal line, sacroiliac articulation, anterior border of sacral ala and sacral promontory. These are the 9 landmarks of pelvic inlet. As the cavity is round in shape, it do not have such landmarks. Now we will see the landmarks of the outlet. The landmarks of the outlet are lower border of the symphysis pubis, pubic arc, ischial tuberosity, ischial spine, sacrococcygeal joint, sacrospinous ligament, sacrococcygeal, sacrotuberous ligament, sacrospinous ligament and sacrotuberous ligament. So these are the landmarks of the outlet. Next we will see the diameters of the female pelvis. So first we will see the diameters of the inlet. There are 3 diameters: anterior posterior diameter, oblique diameter and transverse diameter in the female pelvis. So first we will see the anterior posterior diameter of the pelvic inlet. The anterior posterior diameter of the pelvic inlet is also called as anatomical conjugate, true conjugate or conjugate vera. It is called as anatomical conjugate because this is the diameter which the anatomy provides to the female pelvis. It is measured from the sacral promontory, midpoint of the sacral promontory to the upper inner surface of the symphysis pubis. It is measured around 11 centimeter. But during labor, when the fetus come across to the pelvis, the fetus did not get this much diameter. The diameter which the fetus get is obstetric diameter or obstetric conjugate. Obstetric conjugate is measured from the midpoint of sacral promontory to the middle inner surface of symphysis pubis, which is measured around 10 centimeter. So as you can see that the obstetric conjugate, that is the diameter which the fetus actually get during labor, is 1 centimeter less than the anatomical conjugate. Now being a nurse midwife, we cannot either measure the anatomical conjugate or the obstetric conjugate. The diameter which we can measure is diagonal conjugate. So diagonal conjugate could be measured from the midpoint of sacral promontory to the lower inner surface of symphysis pubis, and it is measured around 12 centimeter. So the anterior posterior diameter of the pelvic inlet is 11 centimeter as per the anatomy, 10 centimeter as per the obstetric conjugate, and 12 centimeter as per the diagonal conjugate. Next is the transverse diameter. Transverse diameter is between the two farthest point of the iliopectineal line. So it measures around 13 centimeter. Next is the oblique diameter. Oblique diameter is from the sacroiliac joint to the iliopubic eminence. So if we are measuring from the right sacroiliac joint to the left iliopubic eminence, it is called as right oblique diameter, and it measured around 12 centimeter. In the same way, if we are measuring the oblique diameter from the left sacroiliac joint to the right iliopubic eminence, it is called as right oblique diameter. It also measured 12 centimeter. So these are the diameters of the pelvic inlet. As the cavity is almost round in shape, so that is why all three diameters, that is anterior posterior diameter, transverse diameter and oblique diameter of the cavity are same, that is 12 centimeter. Next we will see the diameters of the outlet. First we will see the anterior posterior diameter of the outlet. The anterior posterior diameter of the outlet is measured from the lower border of symphysis pubis to the sacrococcygeal joint. It measures around 13 centimeter. From the lower border of symphysis pubis to the sacrococcygeal joint is 13 centimeter. This is the anterior posterior diameter of outlet. Next is the transverse diameter of outlet is measured between the two ischial spine. So this is the transverse diameter and it measures around 10 to 11 centimeter. Next is the oblique diameter. It is measured from the obturator foramen to the sacrospinous ligament. It measures around 12 centimeter from the obturator foramen to the sacrospinous ligament. So it measures around 12 centimeter. So this is all about female pelvis.